Ahoy, this is Zdenka. In this video, I'm going to go through videography and photography tips and tricks with Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, correct settings, angles, moves, accessories, and much more. This video is brought to you by iSinwheel. Let's start with camera settings for filming in automatic mode first. Resolution is set to UHD, that is 4K, to get the highest quality possible. Frame rate is 60 frames per second, as this gives us the flexibility to slow down the clips 40% in a post to create a slow motion if we choose to do that. In camera settings, intelligent optimization is set to maximum. Video stabilization is on. Under advanced video options, I have HEVC format selected with prioritize video quality option. High bitrate videos are enabled, but HDR10+ is disabled as I prefer the more natural look. Let's go back to camera settings. Tracking autofocus is on, grid lines are on, and lastly, I also recommend enabling everything in settings to keep, so when you close the camera app and open up again, your last settings you used will be there instead of default settings. This phone has a great stabilization, so I could film handheld, but for long shots, it will be much better to use gimbal, as the gimbal will keep the horizon perfectly straight and all the movement will be controlled. The gimbal I'm using is Hohem iSteady M6. The first shot will be filmed in lock mode. Let's frame the shot first. The lock mode will hold the frame no matter how we will move. Then go low and slowly bring the camera up. As there is already a movement of Tom riding the scooter, you are going to introduce even more movement, resulting in a nice dynamic shot. When you are filming in automatic mode, you are not going to get the natural motion blur as the shutter speed is very high. Let's go to Pro Video mode, where you can film in manual mode. Again, resolution is set to UHD, frame rate is 60 frames per second. White balance is set to 5500 Kelvin for daytime light. Focus is set to center. Speed is set to 1/125th, as we have to double the 60 frames per second, so 2 times 60 is 120. The closest is 1/125th, and ISO is brought to the lowest number possible. When you film in manual mode outdoors, you need to use ND filters that work as sunglasses, as with these settings you will get this bleached image. Many of you ask me what case I have on this phone. It is freewell case, as this one allows me to use their magnetic filters and lenses. Let's take the same shot. Let's do a different shot, but this time in the city. Gimbal is set to pan follow mode. Tilt motor is locked, which means that the camera will stay at the same height. It's not going to move up or down, only sideways. The camera choice here is the main camera. You don't want to really use ultra-wide angle lens, as the walls will be distorted. Bring your camera lower, go as close to the wall as possible, and simply move to the other side again to another wall, as close as possible. Tom is riding, I am moving, lots of dynamic movement is created in this shot. Let's add more movement to the side shot. These shots look easy, but they are not easy to do so. They always take a few takes to get them right. This scooter has cruise control, so the easiest way is to enable it at slow speed. The speed will be consistent, making it easier to follow. The gimbal is set to pan follow mode. What really makes the shot is the framing. You don't want to have too much head and ground space. There should be just enough of the space above the head and below the scooter. Tom is riding into the scene. That means he's placed on the left side, looking into the frame. The camera is roughly in the middle of his body. If you cannot run or move with your subject, you can just try a silhouette static shot against the sun. Once you master the simple shots, you can step it up by trying a combination shot. Gimbal is in pan follow mode. As Tom will ride at high speed, I will do my best to reveal him, cross in front of him, circle around, and then reveal this old car. This shot requires good timing, and don't be disappointed if it doesn't work out the way you like. Here I was, for example, late. I missed him completely. To have even more fun with this shot, let's add some speed ramping. Let's dive into portrait video. Portrait video is only available at 4K or 1080p at 30 frames per second. If my whole video was filmed at 30 frames per second, then I wouldn't have to do anything. I would just film at 30 frames per second. But my timeline is in 24 frames per second. I'm going to take an advantage of 30 frames per second with the intention of slowing the footage down 20%. This is going to give us a little bit of a slowed down, soft, dreamy look. Once you enable this mode, make sure to check the edges of your subject. If the edges are a bit smudged, then the effect is too strong. You need to ease up a bit, just bring it down. Whenever I need my talent to be perfectly centered, I take advantage of an AI tracking sensor. Once Tom shows an OK sign, the gimbal starts tracking him automatically. This way, I don't have to think about framing at all, as the gimbal does all the work for me. All I have to do is think about what shots I'm going to do. For example, this orbit shot. I can also try low to high, passing by and going low again. These are very easy shots to do thanks to the AI tracking sensor. Let's stay with portrait, but this time photography. In portrait mode, I prefer to keep the blur effect only at strength number 2. The background will be nicely blurry, while the edges of the person will stay sharp and not smudged. Let's go to settings. If you don't have a camera assistant app installed on your phone, I highly recommend getting that one in the Galaxy Store if it is available in your country. When it comes to photography, there is one setting that I recommend enabling in the camera assistant app, and that would be picture softening. I have it set to high. The photos will not be so over-sharpened as we normally get with smartphones. Another option for filming portrait shots would be using add-on lenses, such as this freewheel telephoto lens. This lens with this phone is too heavy for this gimbal, so I can only film handheld or use a tripod. Adding a telephoto lens will give you very precise subject edges, very nice blur in the background, and more flexibility when it comes to frame rates as you mount this lens over the main camera so you can film in Pro Video mode. This clip is filmed at 4K and 60 frames per second. Telephoto lenses are great for portraits and also close-up detailed shots. Let me show you many close-ups with this lens while introducing you to the newly released iSinwheel S10Max 1000 watt high-end commuting foldable electric scooter that can take you up to 60 kilometers at top speed, 45 kilometers an hour. Maximum load is 150 kilograms, charging time is 6 to 9 hours, battery is displayed on the screen. Recommended height for this scooter is 120 to 200 centimeters. Tom is currently 193 centimeters, which is 6'3", and he felt very comfortable riding. As the S10Max has a very powerful motor, it can easily climb up to 35% hill grade. S10Max has been upgraded to front swing arm suspension, so the ride on rough or uneven terrain is smoother, also due to 10-inch off-road vacuum tires. There are several speed modes, cruise control mode. It comes with an app that lets you lock the scooter, read riding data, and more. It has a headlight. The back brake light is very bright. It has turning signals with beep, and it comes with this cool scooter bag. For those interested, a link to S10Max can be found below the video. Thank you very much iSinwheel for making this video possible. All the shots you are just seeing were done with the help of add-on Telephoto Lens. Let's move on to another shot you can try, and that will be pulling focus in native camera app. The easiest way would be using Gimbal's app, as you can turn the knob to pull focus. However, if you have a gimbal that doesn't offer this feature, or you don't have a gimbal at all, you can try this two ways. You can use a manual focus slider in Pro Video mode that lets you control the focus. Once you slow down the footage, you can see the focus change smoothly. The other way that is much easier is filming in portrait mode. Very simply, tap on the background to focus, and then tap on the subject. This is the result you are going to get once you slightly slow down the clip, as here you can only film in 30 frames per second. There are many places that don't allow drones. However, we know that we can fake aerial drone shots with our smartphones with the help of an extendable selfie stick or a monopod. The monopod I am using is from iFootage. All gear I'm using to film this video is listed below in the video description. It is best to film with an ultra-wide angle lens, as the view from above will look much higher than if you would film with a main camera. If you are filming in an open space, you can have your subject enter from either corner and right through the location as you are moving the camera up or down. Riding away shots are perfect to finish a story. The opposite would be having your subject right into the shot to introduce a story. If you are filming in a city, take advantage of buildings to frame the shots in a very dynamic way. Move as close as possible to the walls. Start very low and bring monopod as high as you can. Notice that I always film against the sun. When you film with the sun in your back during sunrise or sunset, the picture looks a bit flat with a smartphone. Another shot you can do is right on the street where there is no traffic, of course. Take advantage of parked cars on the street. Start very close by the wheel and bring the camera as high as you can. The opposite would be bringing the camera down as close to the ground. Those extreme angles is what will make the clips different and interesting. The big objects, such as the car wheel, will make the framing very eye-catching. Let's try something completely different. Gimbal is set to lock mode. Frame the shot straight to the ground and slowly lift the gimbal up and have your subject pass below. We are about to do some slow motion clips here with the water, but first I have a quick tip for you when it comes to taking burst photos. If you want to take action shot, it is best to use burst mode. It's quite simple. Place the camera on a tripod or stand and use the pen to take the shot. Just press and hold the middle button. As you are holding the button, it will keep taking photos. Once you are done, go to Gallery to locate the shot. Hit the icon with the number at the bottom, and now you can select the shot you want to keep. So easy. Alright, let's get to those slow motion shots. Let's select 240 frames per second slow motion, as this is quite fast action shot. We want to capture those water drops splashing around. In this first shot, the phone is just stationary in the phone clamp on the ground. You can step up the shot even more if you hold your phone and slowly pan sideways. There is lots of motion happening here. Panning to the side, scooter riding by, and water splashing in the air. We had to create the puddle ourselves as the ground was very dry, but unfortunately we did not have enough water to cover the whole area. For better results, bring lots of water. If you spread it everywhere, the sun reflection will be even better. How do you take these contrasty sunset photos? This is very easy to do. Lots of people make the mistake that they just point the camera and press the shutter button. What you have to do is lock the focus on the subject and bring the exposure all the way down. This is quite a good start. Then you can edit the photo even further in a post to introduce even more contrast that will result in this silhouette photo. So when you are taking a photo of the reflection with the water, you don't want to have the camera at the top because you're not really gonna see that much reflection of the light. Once you turn the camera upside down, you get the cameras closer to the ground, you're gonna actually see the reflection. Bonus tip here. If you are constantly annoyed that your favorite filming modes are all here and you have to always scroll to get here, you might not know that all these modes can be rearranged. Simply press and hold the icon and move the mode anywhere on the screen or here to the main mode bar. Now you can place Pro Video mode after video, Pro Photo mode after photo, and so on. You can customize the native camera app the way you need. Give it a thumbs up if you found this video informative, and don't forget to subscribe for more. For those who are complete beginners when it comes to smartphone filmmaking and are serious about learning, check out my ZD Creator Academy, where you can work with me directly. See you in the next video. Ciao, ahoj!